Continuing with the discourse by Sanat Kumara. It is that love that holds the electron in its orbit around the atom. It is that love that holds the planets in their orbits about the sun. It is that love that should hold the mind of man to its own God flame, the great central sun within you. For even the atoms of the brain itself are obedient and responsive to that love, though the consciousness of the individual man using those atoms may wander, as in most it has, in another direction entirely. And therein has been man's dilemma. As an individual's mind begins to wander from its center, to create patterns of its own, the very electrons that those new thought patterns impress begin to lose their centers, and first the etheric, then the denser strata of the individual's world, and the world of those upon whom his attention rests, begin to fall apart, until finally the disharmony makes itself felt in the physical stratum as sickness, despair, and disorder of every imaginable kind. And when a whole group of society holds similar patterns of thoughts and feelings, the disharmonious energy generated thereby is very great. It is little wonder, then, that those societies find themselves involved in wars, depressions, turmoils, and experience of every conceivable lack, the origin of which they little understand. When these depressions get too great, the societies involved try to clear themselves of the pressure by having it out, which really means the collective energy of the mass of the electrons that man has affected reasserts its natural desire for perfect alignment, perfection. The electrons, through the consuming activity of the fire element, which dissolves and consumes that which man has created, and impresses upon the mass of electrons, then return to their original orbits about their centers, having thrown off their human accumulation, and express the purity and balance of their original state, the full expression of the divine love of their being, the true, original, and final state of all God's creations everywhere. And whatever, whether through pride or ignorance, that does not come into full and perfect harmony with the divine love of its nature, must eventually dissolve and pass out of existence. Love, the fire of creation, can also be the fire of destruction. When man does not create in harmony, when that fire is misused. That is what has happened to man in the past. Through misuse of the light, he has caused great destruction, which, as it always must, has returned upon the ones responsible and destroyed not only them, but their environments, and the very continents, with their populations upon which man dwelt. You see how dangerous it is to play with these atoms. And I want to say right now, man's attempt to exploit the power of the atom is now the greatest single threat to man's existence, being forced unknowingly upon the innocent peoples of the earth. This must stop, and we will see to it that it does stop. The alternative is too ghastly for the human mind to comprehend. It is the old story of Pandora and the beautiful box. She thought that she had found something good, but when she discovered what it was that she had found, it was too late to stop. She had already unleashed great suffering on man, and she could not put back into the box what she had let escape. But do you know what the very last thing was that was left in the box? It was hope, all alone. Hope was all that was left, and we have hope for mankind that he will learn from his past and profit by that wisdom which Pandora only achieved at so great a price. Each of you bears a responsibility in that respect. Keep in mind that your every thought and feeling affects the atoms of your and your neighbor's world, and that for the destiny of those atoms you bear the responsibility. For what the great directing intelligence of this solar system is to the planets of the system, your own individual God self is to your own body, with all its constituent parts, which parts, as the saying, as above so below, is true correspond to those planets. And so you see, in this way, you affect and are affected by all creation. You have free will and are a conscious creator at every moment of your existence. And you never cease to exist, for life is eternal. Now do you begin to see your responsibility to life, dear ones, that you cannot think, feel, act, or speak. And speaking is acting, without the consequences of your action returning to you. And return they do, amplified many times. For every wave of energy sent out is a living magnet, drawing light waves unto itself until, moving in unison, they grow to tremendous peaks before falling again back to their source. They travel in grooves, as it were, and when they reach their limit, they come back to the sender. And woe unto him who has sent forth anything less than love, less than charitable, to his fellow man, that he would not want to experience. For it is the law of creation that what you have caused another to experience, you will at some time, some place, whether this lifetime or another, experience yourself. That, do you not see, is the only way it could be. How else would man learn responsibility? If you would view all of your experiences today as partially the effects of previous causes which you yourself have set into motion, coupled, of course, with the free will you have at every moment that enables you to choose, to discriminate light from darkness, to seek forgiveness, and rise above all effects, then you would have a clearer view of your existence. Everything that takes place on the earth in the material world first takes place in the realm of thought. Earth is the realm of effect. Cause and cause alone from the higher realms of thought is master of all that happens here. And only by mastering your thought can you ever ascend into the realm of light and become a being of cause alone. Remember, although all causes have their effects, and although you must experience the effect of all causes which you have set in motion, still there is forgiveness, a law unto itself, which makes it possible for you to rise out of the world of what would be otherwise a limitless change of cause and effect without respite. By the grace of God, man was created in God's image and likeness, and like the God that he is, man has the ability to forgive. And in that forgiveness, which is a great blazing flame that dissolves and consumes all discordantly qualified energy and binding limitation in which the individual has bound himself through many ages, is that flame of divine love which dissolves and consumes all human creation and sets the individual wholly pure and perfect before the doorway to his eternal freedom. Visualize the fire of forgiveness as a great violet fire, blazing up through and around you and throughout your world, starting far down in the earth and leaping in great waves of light about you everywhere, soaring overhead. And if at the same time you will couple that visualization and qualification with the expression, I am, you will release the flame's full power. I am the violet consuming flame, blazing up, in, around, and through me and through my world. You will do yourself and your world, or anyone, or any condition in it, or upon which you feel called to act, no matter where on the earth that person or condition may be, inestimable good. Soon you will be using this flame daily in ways that you have never dreamed, and the results you will obtain are at this time beyond your present power of comprehension. So great and wonderful is the effect of this mighty flame, and through the violet fire, and though the violet fire may be invisible to your outer sight until you have raised your sight sufficiently, which raising activity the violet fire performs, you are the fire's keeper. Yes, each of you is a keeper of the flame.